Took me a while to think of a good color for this one today. Hi everybody, and a warm welcome back to Maple Leaf Customs in Switzerland. I'm Andrew, and on the bench today is a 1:64 scale Hot Wheels Porsche 356 Outlaw. It's the wrap-up to my month of Porsche's emphasis. My thanks again to everyone who helped me celebrate my YouTube channel's 5th anniversary in the annual All Porsche giveaway. Look for the recap video coming out in a day or two with lots of draw prizes. The Outlaw is my entry to the mid-March Four Horsemen die-cast invitational on the theme of St. Patrick's Day. These are my build team colleagues, and I invite you to visit each one of their YouTube channels. This month we welcome Boris's Die-Cast and Dioramas as our guest horsemen. Our next invitational for the end of the month is on the theme of Boy Scouts or Girl Scouts. This is my invitation to you to join us for that one and our future builds. Check the calendar for what's coming up. The 356 was produced by Porsche from 1948 to 1965 as their first production road car offering. Designed by Ferry Porsche and Erwin Komenda, the car was noted for its lightweight and nimble handling. Produced over 4 series, the 356A, introduced in late 1955, was the car's first major revision. It was nicknamed the T1 among enthusiasts due to its internal Type 1 factory designation. Produced from 1955 to 1959, a number of engine choices were available for each trim level, from the 1.3-liter 506 flat 4 to the 1.6 616/1 flat 4. All engines were mated to a 4-speed manual. This generation also featured the Speedster, an open-top version with few fittings and trim pieces. 21,045 of them were produced. Once the paint was removed from mine, a couple of stubborn casting lines were revealed, but with a little bit of diligence, those cleaned up just fine. Now it's ready for degreasing and primer. This is one of my favorite stages in the whole restoration process. Now it's a blank canvas. After the annual All Porsche theme wraps up with a recap, you can look ahead on my channel to see these different themed builds coming up. I received a few of these from viewers and mail calls. A couple of store-bought ones, but I hope to continue with lots of variety to keep you watching. And I hope you'll get all subbed up as a new follower if you haven't already. That'd be terrific. It's not always necessary, but I find on occasion that after the primer coat is thoroughly dried, it requires a light wet sanding. I use about a 2000 grit sandpaper. It takes away any little burrs or bumps or inconsistencies. When I'm satisfied with the finish, I can press on to the spray booth, and for St. Patrick's Day, it's go green or go home. It's kind of a no-brainer. And it's one of the classic colors from the Porsche palette back in that era. I'm using a trigger-style airbrush from Gaahleri. I'll lay on a base coat, let that dry up, and each coat on top of that gets a little bit darker. Today's community shoutout goes to the UK-based YouTube channel Wastelands Raceway, featuring all kinds of post-apocalyptic carnage. It's two buddies having a great time over there. Check them out by following the link I left in the description. Thank you. I'm going light on the decal treatment with the 356 Outlaw. There's one of the standard Carrera type checkered stripes on the door and a St. Patrick's Day shamrock. I also take the time to do some detailing with some metallic markers. Here's a steering wheel swap, one of my 3D printed varieties. That'll get emerald isle green too. Rear engine happiness in the 356. And this car is going to feature lots of gold highlights, starting with a wheel swap with this upgrade from Samed wheels. Green and gold for St. Patrick's Day. I printed these plaid seat covers that I applied to the inside with some Mod Podge, and that gives a nice period effect as well. It looks like a mess here. They'll dry up beautifully. It was a pretty basic project overall, so it's ready to reassemble now. You can see all the details I did on the body. Couple of touch-ups on the interior, including a gold gas filler cap. I left the windshield alone, detailed the undercarriage, and of course put on those nice gold-rimmed Samed wheels. Everything is pressure mounted in this car, so the interior goes on the chassis, the windshield on top of that, and the body sets down perfectly to cover it all. All that's left is to put a couple of replacement 256 screws in to hold it all together, and that's about it for one of my all-time favorite Porsche models, the 356 Outlaw Coupe. Rolling all the way to that pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. Let's have a closer look at this green and gold beauty. Ghost white decals were kept to a minimum, as I said, and that helps the gold highlights stand out on top of the green. You'll see taillights and exhaust tips highlighted. The side windows are down so you can get a peek at the plaid seat covers and steering wheel, and leather straps and a Porsche emblem up front on the bonnet. I might be the only one in the hobby community who doesn't care for the Golf livery. I think it's overdone. So I went back to basics. Today, for St. Patrick's Day, can't go wrong with green and gold, especially on a 356 Outlaw. I think it makes a nice package altogether. And I'm very pleased with the way this one turned out as a wrap-up to my month o' Porsches. Big thanks again to our guest horseman for his die-cast and dioramas. If you participated, please submit a high-quality glamour pic to us at this email address, and we'll include your build in a recap video. See you at the end of the month for the Scouts theme. Thanks so much for visiting my channel today. Happy St. Patrick's Day. It's coffee time.